Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Now we're going to talk about Vechain price again and what would it take for VET to be $10, or what price of Bitcoin would it have to be for VET to get to $10. Now, once again, I don't think this is actually going to happen, and people are saying like Vechain to $75. That's just not going to happen. But Vechain, if Bitcoin goes super high, maybe it can get to 10 on like the super high level. Now, once again, I don't really think there's much of a chance that this is going to happen, but let's actually take a look at some numbers and some projections and what it would actually take for Vechain to get into $10. Right now, Vechain is at 4.25 cents. So first we have VSwap and DeFi, and that happens independent of what price Bitcoin actually is. Now we know that Binance Coin, being much higher market cap than Vechain, already did somewhat of a like 8x when DeFi was actually introduced. So without Bitcoin moving, I think Vechain can probably do an 8x as well. Solana also kind of did this. But I think since Vechain is lower cap than Binance, it doesn't take nearly as much money to lock in. And DeFi, I think, will affect Vechain price maybe even more if things work out well. So with DeFi at 10x instead of 8 for Binance, it would be at 42.5 cents. And I think that's actually it's an optimistic assumption, but it's a reasonable assumption looking at how much Solana has gone up lately because of some of the DeFi upgrades, despite Bitcoin falling, and how much Binance has gone up since they actually started DeFi with PancakeSwap. Remember, we already have VSwap 1.0. We're just waiting for VSwap 2.0 with all the oracles and everything before Vechain DeFi can kick off. So just with DeFi itself, I think we can get to 42.5 cents. Now, 42.5 cents is still a very long way from $10. From 42.5 cents, you still need a 23.5x to get to $10. So the thing is, this is where it depends on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now at 50K. So if Bitcoin 10x's from here, it would be 500K. If Vechain 10x's from 42.5 cents, it would be $4.25. But however, as we've seen with altcoin growth, altcoins, as Bitcoin grows, almost always outgain Bitcoin. And I think for a low cap like Vechain, I think a 2-to-1 ratio is actually reasonable. It might not even, I don't even think it's optimistic. I think it's just reasonable, a 2-to-1 ratio, because you've seen like how many of these older coins have actually come up much more than Bitcoin since Bitcoin has actually come up. So I think if Vechain 10x's, if Bitcoin 10x's, I think there's a decent chance that Vechain can get that 23.5x and get to $10. But this would require DeFi to be successful on Vechain and Bitcoin to get to $500,000. The Bitcoin to $500,000 is the one I don't think is actually going to happen this cycle. I think the top would be around 300,000, and like the lowest it would crest at is 100,000. So there's a pretty big range there, but I do not think it will get to $500,000 this cycle. So therefore, I don't think this will actually happen. As for the DeFi, if you look at Binance's timeline, we think VSwap is going to come out hopefully next month along with Vechain 2.0. It might take a month longer, I'm not really sure. But from the time that VSwap 2.0 comes out, you got to get the DeFi ready, and then it has to proliferate. So I would give it 2 months after VSwap actually comes out to see what Vechain's price actually does. So I would say look to it for like May, June maybe, for that DeFi to really take a big effect on Vechain, maybe sooner. And then Bitcoin to 500K, I don't think it's going to happen this cycle, but I do think Bitcoin will crest sometime later this year. So I would definitely look to a sellout date, maybe sometime in like September through December, depending on certain factors and how high it's actually going up. So the thing is, like, for Vechain to get to $10, DeFi would have to be successful on Vechain, and Bitcoin would have to crest 500K, possibly 600K. So I think the chance of this happening is very small, mainly because I do not think the second condition will be met. But there you have it. That's the Bitcoin price that needs to be if you want $10 Vechain. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.